Taking time, and we're live. Hi, David. This is another CEO Wisdom podcast, Founder Wisdom podcast with David Corbin. He's the inventor of healthcare's Rejuvenation Station, number one Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author, two times on TEDx, business advisor, mentor to mentors. He's in San Diego right now, about to play pickleball, smoking a nice big cigar. We were talking about cigars, my love for cigars, but my inability to smoke them health wise. And yeah, David's quite impressive. 46 years at the Performance Technology Group. 46. So I've never seen that much time in one businesses. So we're going to talk about the focus to build that one. He was also a president of Aesthetic Audio Systems, started a bunch of companies, so serial entrepreneur. This podcast is brought to you by podpar.com. This is my podcasting company. If you want to start an AI podcast and get leads, get sponsors, get AdSense money, you can go to podpar.com. I've got a new masterclass and a promo for the holidays. David, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and what you're up to nowadays.
Well, I can tell you what I'm up to. Telling you about myself is an ongoing process because I continue to learn, grow, and develop. I learned years ago at a little party I was at called Woodstock.
Yeah.
I was backstage and a guy said to me, "Man, you're either green and growing or ripe and rotting, but you're never standing still." And so,
Hipster advice.
yeah, so who I am is basically, an individual is always trying to learn and grow and expand. And what I'm doing lately is continue to have a great, big, wonderful life. I invent products and build companies around them, and I do keynote speeches, and I mentor people, and I consult with companies, and I have lunch and visit with a lot of really cool buddies.
And how have you evolved from your Woodstock self, your younger self, to the being that you are today? What have you learned along the way in life and business?
Well, I stepped into my identity and realization that I am an entrepreneur. I didn't know that before Woodstock. Yeah, I mowed lawns and I shoveled snow and sold cans of soda at Little League games, but I didn't know that I was an entrepreneur. And prior to Woodstock, I was a kid, kind of a low self-esteem kid, always trying to figure stuff out. And then after Woodstock, I started to step into, a little bit more of who I am and what I do. I was a very active, patriotic protester of the Vietnam War, and I took leadership positions in that. And then went on and finished college and started businesses and kind of been doing all of that like since forever.
Tell me about the first serious company you started. Like mine was a nootropic business, so a supplement for the brain, and I learned so much in that business. I earned a triple PhD in entrepreneurship. So, what was your first business, and what were the main lessons that you got starting it?
Well, it's interesting because I did a TED talk about just this. Many years ago, I recognized that the government in the United States, which was the largest consumer of goods and services in the world, um, needed to, by law, prefer small business, woman-owned business, minority-owned business. And when I looked at that situation, I realized it's not so easy for these small businesses to get behind the doors to the military and prime contractors. So we developed something called the Military Suppliers Guide and BPA Directory, which actually got on the desks of the engineers and the decision makers and procurement officers at the time they were making purchasing decisions. And we gave those businesses for a fee for inclusion in this directory. That's how long ago it was. It was a directory. And we doubled every year for many years. And we had offices in 12 Western states, and everything was great and groovy, and we were producing lots of money. And then the whole thing almost collapsed for lack of our awareness of what we knew, what we needed to know, and what we didn't know. And boy, that was a lesson.
Right. And then which one was, of all your businesses, which one was the most successful one, and why was it so successful?
They've all been successful. Knock wood. They've all been successful, and the reason they're successful is I created a model for inventing products and building companies. I wrote about that model in my book Illuminate, Harnessing the Positive Power of Negative Thinking. And so they've all been successful. And because of that, I take the ideas and lessons that I've learned from my businesses, and then some of the if you will, the stutter steps to the basket, some of the issues, challenges, problems, and conundrum. And I learn from them, and I discuss and write about them too. You know, it's funny. I had lunch yesterday with a former business partner. And you may know his name. His name is Brian Tracy. Are you familiar with that name?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Brian and I had our uh, 3 hour lunch, as we do often, and we're talking about some of these issues and ideas and concepts, and we agree on so many different things. And one is taking personal responsibility for the growth of yourself and your business. And then it will follow as the night the day, as says Shakespeare, that counts not be false to any others, to thine own self be true. When you do that which you know is truth, immutable laws of success, you can't not win. So I learned a lot of stuff along the way, and I love to share and talk about them.
Sure. So what would be the top three laws of success here?
Number one, know yourself.
That's
I
a good one.
teach, have a conversation with your business and ask your business two important questions. Number one, hey, business, what do you need me to do? And listen to the voice of your business and write down what the business tells you you need to do. Those are your core job functions. And then the next question you ask your business is, who do you need me to be? Who do you need me to be? And then you write down the qualities and characteristics that your business tells you you need to be. So you have a do list and a be list. And being that you're weird enough to be able to hear the voice of your business, now it's time to get naked. But not naked of clothing, but naked of ego, and rate yourself on your ability to deliver, to bring it, to show up with the do and the be. And when you see you can do it, you're a 10, that's great. But where you see you're a 3, 4, or 5, it's time to close some gaps. Take responsibility and close the freaking gaps.
So applying these laws of success, I mean, you've got some financial success to yourself, like as I can see on Instagram. Do you feel it was linear, and how did you adapt it to all the challenges that life and business threw in your direction?
Well, I'm not done. So I'm not done building um, financially and otherwise. I'm not building here at the house. I mean, I just built a pickleball court last year and built the library building before that. So I'm always building, always building. Was it linear? Well, that's an interesting question, Charles. Was it linear? No, I imagine there were steps here and there. I mean, hell, I almost lost that that business I referred to, the military suppliers guide. Almost lost that business. That really took a big dip until I was able to sell it, and then I was able to sell it. I almost lost my house. Um, yeah, no, I can't offer any wisdom as to whether it's linear, algebraic, geometric, or otherwise.
Yeah, it's probably not. But one thing that I can see in you is like your inner Zen. You refer a lot to Woodstock, and you seem to have a different mindset about business. Do you feel that this calm, composed, or Zen mindset has brought you more or less dollars in your business? And if less dollars, did it brought you more happiness? Is it like a give and take equation?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting distinction. One is financial money, and the other is happiness. I don't always put the two together. Some feel that they need money to be happy. Well, you do need a modicum of money, certainly, to meet your basic creature comfort needs and then some of your desires and stuff. But in answer to your question, when I was less calm, I was earning good money, but I was not happy. I was not grounded. I was not fulfilled. I was therefore, in my definition, not successful. Others might look and say, oh, wow, look at this and that. And look at the car, look at the house, look at this. But I was not successful. Because I think success certainly requires money, but success requires so much more than that. And I believe that peace of mind, grounded, health, health of body, health of heart, health of mind, health of emotion, health of relationships. To me, those are the ingredients of success. Those are the ingredients I put in the Vitamix, and I drink that smoothie of success. And so now, through a function of wisdom, age, maturity, maybe it's a function of testosterone, although the doctor just told me my testosterone's too high. Um, but
Too
but
high.
nonetheless, when you chill, when we're talking about the do and the be. Well, for many years I was only do, right? That's a big pile of do. It was later on when one of my girlfriends said to me in her beautiful French accent, she's from Rouen, France, she said, David, why are you never alone? What are you afraid of? And I said, I'm not afraid of anything. All right. I'm a New Yorker and I'm not afraid. And I'm alone a lot. I'm in my man cave. I got my two TVs. And then I realized, you know what? I am not alone. And it wasn't until I began the process of mindful meditation, of being present, that my happiness and fulfillment sort of took off. It wasn't until then that it really um, took off. And so now I engage both in meditation and something I call meditration, which is perhaps another story for another time.
So, just to paraphrase here or to ask a follow up question, do you feel that letting go and just going with the flow of things like Bruce Lee would brings more money, or is the hustle philosophy can potentially bring you more dollars? And if you know how to enjoy these dollars, you can be happier.
Well, letting go here again, you ask very provocative questions, Charles. So in letting go and going into the flow, yes, I do believe you are invoking natural laws of success. But you can't just let go. So remember, we talk about the law of attraction, right? And the law of attraction, and there was a wonderful movie called The Secret, which says you attract by your thinking, you attract people and situations and things that resonate with the frequency of your energy. And that is true. Well, after the movie The Secret, we did another movie called Pass It On. Pass It On. It's available on YouTube for free. If you put in Pass It On Greg Reed, you'll see this movie where we have most of the people from The Secret and CEOs of Southwest Airline, congressmen, the chicken soup people, sports people, Evander Holyfield. In that movie, we remind people that the last five letters in the law of attraction are what? Action. You need to take action in the direction of the attraction. So it's a balance, isn't it, of be and do. Be and do. Frank Sinatra had it right when he sang "Doobie Doobie Doo." And the question
Scooby-Doo.
I ask is, who are you being while you're doing what you're doing? Who are you being while you're doing what you're doing? So I invite you to take a look at that Pass It On movie where you'll see 65, I'm the host of the movie actually, and you'll see 65 luminaries talking about four areas: wealth, inspiration, success, and happiness. And we put it out there. It's absolutely free. We like to pass on applied wisdom from one generation to the next for success and fulfillment.
So nowadays, you have these books, you have these keynotes, talk, and that authority, right? Like all these years of business behind you. Do you feel that your clients come to you? Is it like mostly SEO? Is that like the source of your clients? And also, if you can tell us, like, who are your clients? Tell us a bit more about the growth side of the business.
Yeah, so I have a rather unconventional marketing schema in my business for the last 40 plus years. And that is in my consulting, speaking, mentoring, advising, keynoting, zero marketing, zero, zero marketing. I understand SEO. In fact, one of my clients, 5K Ignite, is a marvelous company on both SEO and utilization of AI in marketing. But I've done zero marketing. It's all word of mouth. Word of mouth is the single best marketing you can ever do. And the key there is do good work and have people talk about the good work that you do. Now, I'm not suggesting that that's the marketing schema for people who are listening to this entirely, but it must be a big part of it. Do damn good work, get the results, measurable, demonstrable results, and surprise, surprise, you will have a bunch of missionary zealots talking about you and your business. And that's how I built mine.
Or maybe build a pickleball court and invite people to go play. I think that's a hell of a business networking strategy.
Let me tell you something. The last consulting client that I got, which is a flooring company here in San Diego, was happened on the pickleball court here.
But you didn't play your best. You let him have a couple of shots, did you? You didn't
Oh,
like
that
smash
ain't
the
true.
ball. No?
That ain't true. No, we don't play gentle pickleball here. We play war. You know, in pickleball you're supposed to dink it into the kitchen. We don't. We're trying to take out each other's teeth.
So you talk about testosterone, health, and all of that. So, what's your secret, and what's your day to day look like to biohack yourself and make sure that you stay healthy?
Yeah, great question. I am a health freak. I am
Same
a health
here.
I am a health freak and a biohacker. And I just this morning, yesterday, I was just talking to Brian about this. Yesterday, it took me about 45 minutes to set up my next 22 days of supplements. Each of the supplements I take is derived from a read of a number of blood draws, but also some other tests. And each and every supplement I take, I muscle test. I muscle test. I ask the wisdom of the body: do you want this? What brand do you want? How often do you want and need it? And I listen to the infinite wisdom of the body through applied kinesiology, and I take my supplements accordingly. Then, in the morning, I take morning herbs as soon as I wake up. I take something that cleanses the blood from within. It's a blood enzyme. I take my reishi and chaga and I take that in the morning and at the night. And then I also consume the following: positive thoughts.
Uh, And I guess the best pill of them all is physical activity, right? Like just yesterday, I was studying a Wikipedia article on the runner's high, and it's just crazy how much chemical reactions goes on in one's body once you do physical activity. So good for you that you build that that court. You also mentioned testosterone. How could one person have too much of that? I mean, your doctor that maybe he was jealous of your testosterone level, because testosterone is the main driver in business, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there are many drivers in business. Some are physiological, some are neurophysiological, and all. No, when I say it's too much, it's very high. It's not deleterious, um, but it's very high. Well, there's a lot we can go into. My bride and I, my bride and I wrote a book that's 419 pages, and it's called Resanity: Truths About Food, Pharma, and Healthy Living in an Insane World. Food, Pharma, and Healthy Living in an Insane World. And we didn't publish it. We're not going to publish it because we're told if we did publish it with what we're covering there, we would have to have someone else start our cars up in the morning. So, so we're not publishing it, though we have a lot of our friends that, they ask for our chapter on statin drugs, or they might ask for our chapter on bioidentical hormones, and the like. But at 72 years old, I am delighted that I am able to be active, mobile, on my feet. And I think it's a function of what I put in my body. And then, because we live in a toxic cesspool, what I take out of my body. So I chelate every day against heavy metals using zeolite every morning and every night. I cleanse my liver and kidney every morning and every night with homeopathy using Renilix and Hepat. And so there are many hacks that are more. In fact, today, I started a 2-day cleanse where I clean out the senescent cells from my body. I do it with a 2-day intensive. And so you have waste management. You need to clean out the senescent cells and all. So there's so many, there's so many wonderful hacks that are available to all of us. And I did some research on you, Charles. And I know that you're very much intrigued and interested in this for your own personal self-interest, as am I. And so anyone who's interested, it's there. Seek and ye shall find. But as we know, many people have a modicum of interest, but they're not willing to take the action in the direction of that interest.
Yes, yes. Just doing physical activity is a challenge for most. It's just they haven't conditioned their brains. Like I think it's such a no-brainer. It fixes a bunch of things, right? Like depression, addiction as well. So I'm tinkering. The entrepreneur in me is tinkering of starting a program to take people off the street and convert them into runners. Let's see how that goes. Um, yeah, you've mentioned a bunch of interesting thing, and I want that PDF. If you can send it to me, I won't put it public so that you don't get your head chopped off by the pharma cartels. I want to hear you on the positivity thing before we finish up the podcast, because as you know, you might be onto these toxic cesspools of social media nowadays, where people hate on one another, and then there's the attention economy. There's a lot of chaos and noise. So how do you protect yourself from that, and how do you keep your own internal house clean and healthy?
Well, here again, I could talk for hours on that, so I'm going to talk really quickly. Number one, I have a ritual in the morning. I wake up in the morning and I say 4 things. I say, yes, please, more, and thank you. Yes, please, more, and thank you. Every morning, every morning. Yes, please, more, and thank you. Every morning and every night, I speak some of the most powerful, energetic words. If you read the books of David Hawkins, you'll know that words carry energy. And I say courage, neutrality, trust, willingness, acceptance, love, joy, and peace. I say those words all the time. I say that on the pickleball court. I say that on the pickleball court as well. Look, here's the deal. Today, with artificial intelligence, avaricious marketers, pharmaceutical companies, fast food companies, they're using AI. Sadly, they know us better than we know ourselves, and they're hacking us constantly. People complain about hacking in a political contest. Let me tell you something. Pharmaceutical companies and fast food companies are hacking us every 15 minutes. And my point is this: if you are not hacking yourself to your highest and best values, desires, aspirations, and goals, if you're not hacking yourself constantly and proactively, you're allowing them to hack you, and they will win. So that's my mic drop.
It's a good one. Where can people find out more about you, David?
If they have that interweb googly thing, they could find me.
All right. So that was David M. Corbin and Charles Cormier for another Founder Wisdom podcast.